the wrong side of the line. Then, as if on cue, the canine unit rounded the path of big German Shepherd, taut and ready straining at the leash. The officer barked to command, but the dog Max locked eyes with Marcus, and something passed between them. Marcus knelt, hands open, voice trembling. "Hey there, old boy, it's me." And like a memory that refuses to fade, Max melted at Marcus's feet, whimpering and pressing close as if time had collapsed, and the jungle was only yesterday. You could feel the crowd's shock ripple through the air. The officer stared dumbfounded. The tension broke not with anger or fear, but with awe. Max, trained to obey, refused to leave Marcus's side, and in that moment, every label, every accusation fell away. Marcus was no longer invisibly was seen, known, loved by a brother in arms who happened to wear fur. Clarence put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "He never forgot you, brother. None of us did." The teens watched in awe. The mother, who kept her kids close, now wiped tears from her cheeks. One little girl asked, "Why is the dog hugging him, Mommy?" Her mom just shook her head, voice breaking, because sometimes even heroes need to be loved. "Sweetheart," the officers, still in shock, found themselves surrounded not by a suspicious public, but by a community that had just been reminded what respect looks like. "Dalton." The lead officer stepped forward, voice low. "We owe you an apology, sir. All of us do." Marcus didn't want apology. She wanted dignity. "Just respect," he said. "Just a little dignity." Phones were up, not for drama now, but for memorial record of a community finding its heart. The old wounds, the anger started to soften. Even Officer Riley, the youngest, managed a choked-up apology. "I let my assumptions do the talking. I'm sorry." Clarence grinned, pride shining. Takes a bigger man to admit it. People drifted in, drawn by the story of the teenagers, the mother and daughter, an older woman who'd lost her son to war, all united by something bigger than fear. Even Matthews, Max's handler, gave the dog his freedom, letting him stay beside Marcus. "He's earned his break," Matthews said, and for the first time in a long time, Marcus felt like he belonged. As the park emptied and twilight settled in, the little crowd stayed talking, sharing stories about courage and regret, about brothers lost and found, about what it means to be seen. A reporter asked if she could tell the story. Marcus nodded. "Maybe someone else will feel less alone." Malik wanted a photo, something to remember. A new mosaic of faces, old and young, black and white, cop and civilian, all changed. The next day, the city buzzed with the story. Clips of Marcus and Max on every screen, strangers reaching out, apologies and gratitude flowing from every corner the officers went through. Training told their side, admitted their mistakes. Raleigh made sure to apologize to Marcus in person, and Clarence, as always, stood by Marcus's side, proud as any brother could be. The bench became a landmark, people coming by to listen, to shake Marcus's hand, to let Max nuzzle their palms just to say, "You matter." The mayor held a ceremony. A new plaque was set on the bench. To all who serve, seen and unseen, Marcus spoke, voice trembling. "The hardest battles aren't fought overseas. Theory right here, every time we choose to care." As the sun set, kids played officers, laughed with neighbors, Strangers became family, and Marcus watched it all, finally home, finally seen. So tell me, what would you have done if you'd been there that day? Would you have looked away, or would you have stepped in, even just to listen? Share your thoughts. Ballet, let's talk about what it means to see each other. Really see each other, and maybe, just maybe, change our world for the. They say you never really notice a man like Marcus Harris just kind of blends into the background. You know. But truth is, some stories only start when you finally look twice that day. In the city park, no one expected anything out of the ordinary. Marcus, an older black man with a quiet dignity and a weathered old Marine Corps jacket, was right where he always wasting his bench, half hidden by the oaks, letting the world spin by without much fuss. Maybe he looked invisible to most folks. Maybe that was the point. But let me tell you, there's nothing invisible about the way pain lingers in a person's eyes after decades of surviving more than his share. Marcus wasn't just any old man. He was a living record of wars fought both abroad and at home. The kind of guy who'd seen too much and said too little, but this afternoon was about to prove there are moments when life won't let you sit quietly in the shade knot. When you've still got something left to teach the world. It started simple. Marcus had closed his eyes, soaking in a rare golden slice of peace, when he heard a crunch of boots on gravel. Voices, a little too official, to blend in with the laughter and basketball thuds. Nearby, 3 cops' crisp uniforms practiced suspicion, moving toward him, like he was the only problem left unsolved in an otherwise peaceful park. Maybe they got a call. Maybe it was just their gut. Either way, you could feel the temperature shift. A cold front rolling in. Right on time, evening, sir. You've been here a while, the first officer said. Clipped and formal. Marcus just nodded, not looking for a fight, just enjoying the sun. Officer. There was a gravity to his voice. A calm. Most people mistake for weakness, but those officers, they didn't see it, not yet. To them, he was another nameless facial loiter, a risk, a vagrant. The world's full of folks who'd rather check your papers than check your story. A few bystanders slowed, watching as the officer's questions sharpened. Park closes soon. Mind telling us why you're here? The second cop, younger and restless, checked his watch like Marcus was running out of borrowed time. But Marcus didn't flinch. He'd answered bigger men than these in darker places. What happened next? Let's just say it didn't take long for tension to build. A crowd gathered, some worried, some filming, some just quietly aching for things to stay simple. The third officer, a woman with steel in her eyes, crouched down, asking if he was waiting for someone, if he had a reason to stay. Marcus, tired, but not broken, met her gaze. No, ma'am, just enjoying the afternoon. For a second, something in her softened, but training won out over humanity. We're just doing our job, sir. Somewhere nearby. A group of teenagers hesitated on a basketball court. One kid, Malik, tall, awkward, the kind of boy who hasn't learned how to hide his heart, yet watched with a look that said, "This ain't right." His friends murmured, unsure whether to step in or keep pretending they couldn't see what was happening. The officers asked for ID. Marcus reached slowly into his old coat, producing a battered wallet and a Marine Corps card, so faded it looked almost ghostly. For the first time, the lead officer faltered. "You were a Marine." Marcus nodded just once. The tension snapped just for a moment, Someone in the crowd whispered, "Thank you for your service," but the words vanished in the wind, not nearly loud enough to push back the suspicion still swirling. That's when everything shifted. From the edge of the crowd. A new voice rang out, steady, unafraid. "Hey, that man's a hero. My father served with him in Vietnam." Clarence, tall and sturdy, made his way through the gathering. Marcus's face softened, recognizing his old friend Clarence. It's been too long in that instant. It wasn't just Marcus on the bench anymore. He was a brother, a hero, a story that mattered in. Clarence made sure the officers knew it. "You see this man? He's not Thread's a Marine. He saved lives over there." Suddenly, judgment got a little harder to hold on to. The teenagers stepped closer, drawn by the truth, cracking through the armor of protocol. Even the officers looked shaken, caught between orders and the realization they were standing on